Okay, thank you, the local news channels. I'm Hukavi Yeputhomi, chairman of the United Naga Tribes Association on Border Affairs, border areas. I would like to take this privilege to address some few issues on the aftermath of the eviction drive conducted by the government of Assam and in the disputed area belt between Assam and Nagaland. Our association have had an opportunity of meeting uh, the Boundary Affairs Minister, Mr. Atul Bora, on 26 January 2022 at Johat, that is on Republic Day in 2022. Just after the news announcement by both the Chief Minister of Nagaland and Assam, Dr. Nifurio Saab and then Himanta Biswa Samaji on 24 January 2022, saying that they have agreed to, in fact, they said they have agreed to resolve the boundary dispute issue between two states outside the court, which means that they don't want to, go pursue the disputes on legal matters, because as you may be aware, the civil suit number 2 of 1988 filed by the Assam government on the AGP government, the then AGP government, is still lying in the Supreme Court of India. So that's why when we met the Honorable Cabinet Minister, Mr. Atul Bora, who was in charge of border affairs under the government of Assam on 26 January 2022, we requested him that since both the chief minister of Assam and Nagaland have agreed to resolve the issue outside the court, we requested the cabinet minister Atul Bora to take the initiative to withdraw the civil suit number 2 filed by the Assam government in the Supreme Court against Election Commission of India, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, and the Government of Nagaland in 1988. But that persuasion was not heard by both the government of Assam and Nagaland. And also they assured on 22nd January 2022, both the CM of the both states have said that they want to resolve the boundary issue between Assam and Nagaland on specific areas, like in Merapani area, for instance, like in Tizit area or Nagni Mara, something like that. They will try to resolve portion by portion. That was the assurance made on 24th January 2022 by both the chief ministers. But they have not initiated even a single step in that regard. They have never even said anything in that regard. So while the issue between the boundary issue between Assam and Nagaland is still, in a confused state, both the state government and both the state government. Naga people was, as far as we can understand, as we see now, when the government of Assam conducted eviction drive in the boundaries in between the boundaries between the boundaries of two states, Naga people have started saying this and that, including the civil societies, right? Saying this is wrong, this is not, it should not be like that, saying this and that, this and that. But this is completely the failure of the government of Nagaland. They have failed to uphold the announcement made on 24 January 2022 at Guwahati by both the chief minister of Assam and Nagaland. Okay, they didn't, fulfill that. Meanwhile, Untaba, as an organization that deals with the boundary issue, we submitted a representation to the government of Nagaland and the Chief Minister Nifuri Sahab, along with the proposed resolution that should be enacted in the state of Nagaland Assembly, in the Assembly of Nagaland, Nagaland Legislative Assembly in 2022. But they have failed to do that. We used to say there is a boundary between Assam and Nagaland. Of course, there should be. As per the 12th Amendment of the Constitution of India or the state of Nagaland like 1962, there is a boundary line. But no one can see where is the boundary. Am I right? There is no boundary pillar. There is no any demarcation. It is just an imaginary line based on the notification of 1925. That is Inner Line Regulation Notification of 1925. Why? Because during the state of Nagaland Act 1962 or the 12th Amendment of the Constitution of India, that 1925 Inner Line Regulation line, that line was met and boundary between the two states. That's where we are, urging the government of Nagaland to enact a law requesting the government of India to effect necessary amendment in the state of Nagaland Act 1962 or the 12th Amendment, so that altercation can be met in the boundary line. Now, what the Naga people, both the national political groups as well as our like-minded association like our association Untaba, as well as the Naga Students Federation, our view is Government of India should demarcate the boundary between Assam and Nagaland based on 1875 notification during Buddhist period. By that time, Nagaland was a small area. It was only called Naga Hill district. It was under Assam province. Tuesday there was no Assam state. It was a province that covers the entire northeast area. So an exhaustive mapping was conducted in 1875 by the British government, and that includes all the reserve forest areas. Okay, all these now, Dipu Reserve Forest, Rengma Reserve Forest, Yangapa Reserve Forest, Dilai Reserve Forest, Rengma Reserve Forest, all these reserve forest, from Tiru Reserve Forest, Terang, Disoi, they call Disoi, but in Ao it is Terang. All these reserve forests are under Naga Hills during those days. In 1875, during the exhaustive mapping of Naga Hills area in those days, all this area falls under Naga Hills. Okay, and which I have said earlier also, that area covers the area that still lying under Assam is 4,974.16 square miles, or equivalent to 12,883.07 kilometers, square kilometers, still lying under Assam. That is measured according to the 1875 notification of Naga Hills during those days. All these records are available in the Department of Border Affairs, Government of Nagaland. That's why, as I'm saying, as I've said earlier also, that the Government of Nagaland has to enact a law demanding the Government of India to effect necessary amendment in the state of Nagaland Act 1962 or 12th Amendment Act, so that boundary things can be altered, so as to do away with the disputes in the areas. But the government of Nagaland is still lying as it is. People may misunderstand me, but the present Border Affairs Minister Luckily, we have a Deputy Chief Minister, Mr. Patton. He is not new on the job. During his first stint as MLA in 2013, he was given the border affairs also as a parliamentary secretary during those days. Just coming during after the while the government of Assam is conducting eviction drive, what is his point of visiting the boundary? Since his government has already assured, has announced the program that the boundary issue will be solved on portion by portion. Now, he should have the government of Nagaland, his government should have been doing such things, right? The policy that his government has announced in 2022, the present government should have been following that. Now, you may wonder, all of us must be wondering, because there is no boundary line. Since there is no boundary line, we talk about illegal immigrants. This boundary between Assam and Nagaland is a free flow thoroughfare. See, nobody can identify that this fellow, that fellow is an illegal immigrant. We cannot do that. See, when there is no boundary line, how can we identify some people as an illegal immigrants? See, it's a Herculean task. I mean, it's not possible to identify when there is no boundary line. And when there is no boundary line, how can we, keep boundary posts, border police posts and all? How can we do that? That's not possible. So, what we are urging the government of Nagaland is that sincerely they must adopt a resolution in the Assembly, Nagaland Legislative Assembly, demanding or requesting the government of India to effect necessary amendment in the 13th Amendment or State of Nagaland Act 1962. Only then some tangible step can be undertaken. Until then, nothing's doing. When we check back the history so far, in 1875, the first exhaustive Nagaland's boundary, Naga people's boundary was notified. So that almost reaches near Nogong. See, then now to Haflong side. What the Assam government did after the independence, post-independence, what they did is that in these areas, when the British government was in power, it was sparsely populated. So that is why they have declared these areas as reserve forest areas. See, in order not to allow other people to penetrate in those areas. But what Assam government did after the post-independence is that they have systematically allowed people of questionable origin to, infiltrate and settle in all these so-called Naga people's land in these days. See, and now Assam government is evicting all these people in in these reserve forest areas only. See, the areas the government of Assam have conducted eviction is nothing but it's only a reserve forest of Naga people. It either is falls under Rengma Reserve Forest, or Dipu Reserve Forest. See, all those area belongs to Naga people. What the government of Assam is doing is that they are systematically, slowly and steadily, they are trying to, take over Naga people's land. See, and meanwhile, Nagaland government, not only this government, but the successive government has completely failed to, take important step in this regard. In 1971, when Dr. Hokshe Sama, the then Chief Minister, and led Dr. Hokshe Sama, when he was the Chief Minister, Garbi People Association came down to Dimapur and have, in a public rally, they have declared that they will amalgamate with Nagaland state. See, those days, all these things has happened. But successive leadership in Nagaland, in whatever party government it might be, they have failed to do that. They have failed to safeguard the Naga people's, inherent right. See, these are the real questions which Naga people should understand. Recently, all of you might have come across the Mizoram government is also insisting that the boundary between Assam and Mizoram should follow 1875 notification. See, during 1875, British government they undertook exhaustive, notification between the boundary between the ethnic communities. So that's why Mizoram government is insisting that the boundary line should be the notification of 1875. When the Mizoram people are saying that, where is Naga people? Where is the Naga people's government? The history is clear. The government of India knows everything. The Ministry of Home Affairs have every documents with them. Why not we try to pursue those things instead of trying to make some political mileage? See, some Nagaland politicians are doing that. The most unfortunate thing in Naga people's situation is that our elected leaders, they are either ignorant of their responsibility or they are insincere. They do not know what exactly they are doing. Otherwise, all these such measures should have been implemented in the Nagaland Legislative Assembly. Right? Who is stopping them to, adopt a resolution in the Nagaland Legislative Assembly demanding the government of India to effect necessary amendment in the set of Nagaland Act? Who is stopping them? See, on coming 2nd September, we will be having an assembly. We are going to have an assembly, but it's just to pass the bill. Financial appropriation bill, I mean. Not an act or amendment or passing laws. See, this is the hard facts of our reality. That's why Naga people, some of our leaders, some associations, civil society leaders have approached my friend Mr. M. Sumangba, who is the General Secretary, and myself, that we should say something on this eviction, aftermath of the eviction. The only thing what we want to say is that forget about the eviction. It's Assam government duty. Whether they do it or not, it's up to them. But what the government of Nagaland should do is to safeguard the right of the Naga people over its land. Right. Recently, you may have come across that Geology and Mining Department, they are trying to, conduct research on mineral resources. Right. How can we conduct in a disputed area belt? That's not possible. Right. When an area of any way it may be, if it is demarcated as a disputed area belt by the government of the day, whose authority can they go there and conduct, research or try to identify the minerals below the surface? That's not possible. That's why we have been asking the government of Nagaland to act also, to enact a law to do away with the disputed area belt. Our land is our land. There is no dispute. Right. And the land disputed area belt was created in 1973 by both the government of Assam and Nagaland. After that, neutral police forces were, allowed to see the day-to-day administration in the border areas. And all these issues, the Prime Minister Office, PMO, the Minister of Home Affairs, the Intelligence Bureau, the interlocutors, and these negotiating parts of both the government of India as well as the Naga national political groups are very much aware of such things. Now the ball is in the state government's hand.